Hello and welcome to India Career Center, the one-stop podcast for students, professionals, parents and guardians. In every episode, we will try to deal with a current topic that needs expert advice related to career guidance and career mentoring. Please welcome your host, Dr. S.P. Mishra to the show and happy listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to India Career Center podcast. Today, we are diving into one of the biggest digital shifts India has ever seen, the DPDP Act, our country's new data privacy law that sets in to transform businesses, how the businesses will operate, and how individuals will navigate the digital world. To guide us through this privacy revolution, we are joined by Dr. Damoder Sahu from USA. I'm delighted to share that Dr. Sahu is featuring on our podcast for the second time. We had earlier featured him last year in November 2024 on a topic very similar to this. But today's topic, of course, is to deep dive into the DPDP Act and how the world of AI is actually helping the implementation, and what data safeguard the organization Dr. Sahu has co-founded with other in USA is helping the organizations to navigate through this challenge and creating a safer world for all of us. So with those words, I welcome Dr. Sahu once again to the show. Dr. Sahu, thank you so much for giving your time and sharing your insights.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for having me here. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. So Dr. Sahu, just to recapture for audience who are relatively new to our platform, so tell us briefly about your background and how data safeguard you started, and particularly in realm of the privacy and data protection with a focus on global regulations like the India's DPDP Act. So over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for having me here. And it's always a pleasure connecting with you. And so Data Safeguard India is a 100% India startup based in India, Bangalore headquarters. Data Safeguard Inc. is totally different. There is no connection, no subsidiary. We put it totally different. Of course, I'm operating out of US, and our founder Sudhir Sahu is operating out of California. But it is made for India, made in India. I will talk about the product a little bit later. And my journey has always centered on one thing, solving real problem at scale. After decades in tech, ecosystem, and global leadership, one truth became clear. Privacy was broken. Compliance had become a paperwork ritual, not an organization discipline. In 2022, even before the DPDP Act took shape, our team started contributing inputs to MIT and advising on the evolving privacy landscape. We saw India's future, that is 1.4 billion people, multilingual data, massive digital public infrastructure, and we knew that the world would need privacy platform built for this kind of scale. That's why we built Data Safeguard India with a single mission: operationalize privacy through automation, not checklist, make privacy simple, scalable, and real. And the vision became ID Privacy, that is our flagship product, the world's number one unified privacy automation platform, of course, Bharat's number one as well, powered by our patented cognizable computing engine built on responsible and ethical AI.
Okay, so for those who are not familiar with this data privacy and they do not know exactly what exactly you mean by checkbox compliance in enterprises, privacy management, and why it has become such a persistent challenge for organizations today, especially in regions like India navigating the new DPDP Act.
Absolutely. I think great question you ask, what is a checkbox compliance and why it is failing, right? So checkbox compliance is the corporate version of I agree without reading anything. We do it, right? While installing any app, I don't know how many of us really go and read the consent. Just tick, tick, tick. It is when the enterprise say policy uploaded, training completed, consent captured, assessment filed. That means tick, tick, tick. But nothing actually changes in the operational DNA of how the data is collected, data is processed, stored, minimized, or protected. In India, with DPDP, data continues flowing in 50 plus SaaS apps. Consent sits in PDFs. PIA, privacy impact assessment, is a spreadsheet activity. No visibility into what data is where. So checkbox compliance gives the illusion of safety, not the reality of it. DPDP demands execution, not documentation.
So now let's understand how Data Safeguard Inc. Now that you mentioned also about the Data
Data
Safeguard
safeguarding,
India,
yeah.
can you tell about the operations of both these entities and how it is helping, especially for Indian enterprises to cope up in this evolving landscape?
Absolutely. No, thank you for asking this. So Data Safeguard India is a separate entity, 100% India-based startup. Data Safeguard Inc. is global. There is no relationship, right, at this moment. So Data Safeguard is very simple to describe. We are the category creator of unified privacy automation. None of our competitor has it. Is because there is not another tool. It is not a module, not a privacy feature sitting on top of the security. We built IT privacy from the grounds up. One platform, one Docker image, zero integration needed, AI-driven privacy operations. That too, the AI is built on responsible and ethical AI, patented, purpose built for DPDP, India, and outside India, let's say GDPR, CCPA, and sectoral laws like HIPAA, NIS, right? So what are our key unique selling proposition? India first design, multilingual consent, deep confidential data discovery, as well as confidential data redaction, DPAR or DSAR, data subject access request or data principal access request automation, privacy impact assessment for data, process, as well as third party, breach readiness with minutes, and complete privacy command center. This is why our clients say they achieve 40 to 50% overall cost reduction, compliance in a weeks, not months, and they can see the measurable return on investment in 4 to 6 weeks. So that is our differentiator in India as well as global market.
So basically, you're saying that your focus is actually on compliance to confidence. So can you describe what this transformation looks like in a practice for a typical enterprise, including those adopting India's DPDP Act? I know the implementation of DPDP Act is spread across 18 months, is what I understand. But then your work has started already, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I told you, before this even act actually came to parliament and passed in August 2023, we are in touch with MeitY and other, advisory bodies even before the act actually passed. Now, November 13, 2025, it is actually published, right? So you have asked a great question, moving from compliance to confidence. Compliance is what? Compliance is when you tell regulators we are doing things right. Confidence is when your organization can prove it every day automatically. Let me again rephrase. Compliance is when you tell regulators, yes, we are doing things right. But confidence is when your organizations can prove it every day automatically. Nothing manual, right? Confidence means every consent is tied to every data flow. Every data element is classified in real time. Every data subject access request is fulfilled in minutes, not in months. Every risk is identified before the risk exposure happens. So with DPDP, Indian enterprises need confidence, not documentation. And with our ID privacy, we can transform privacy into a living operational system.
Okay, so now try to understand about what is the actual, the current situation. For example, what are the key limitations of the traditional compliance tools that are pushing companies towards more automated, integrated solutions, particularly in the context of the new act?
Absolutely, Dr. Mishra. So traditional compliance tools struggle because they are siloed, document heavy, manual, no India scale. 1.5 4 billion people, right? DPDP emphasizes data minimization. What is required, that only you need to collect. Valid consent, strict processing boundaries, quick response timeline, and high penalties. I think 250 crore, right? This cannot be met with spreadsheets or PDFs or 15 disconnected applications or tools. Enterprises need one unified engine. That is why we built ID privacy.
Okay. So, in your view, what role do regulators changes such as GDPR, CCP evolutions,
CCP,
or India's DPDP Act play in accelerating the shift towards continuous assurance? And how is the DPDP uniquely influencing Indian enterprises?
Another great question. So regulations, like you mentioned, GDPR started right in Europe 2016-17, and the CCPA, now CPRA, California Consumer Protection Act, started in early 2020. They made privacy mainstream. But the DPDP is making privacy operational, especially for India's unique ecosystem. DPDP's biggest influence is consent as a contract, data principal rights, precision in data flow, emphasis on accountability, India's multi-sector digital adoption. India's enterprises can leapfrog from manual to automated, from documentation to assurance faster than any other nation. So it's totally unique than so-called DPDP, sorry, GDPR and other privacy law. It is totally unique, made for India, and they have clearly considered how the 1.4 billion people, thousands of enterprises can become compliant and they can move from compliance to confidence and do business better in India as well as globally.
And is that the reason why the implementation also has been planned in such a manner that there is no rush to implement? They have given 18 months to go step by step to implement this. Is it something which is also seen in the other parts of the world in terms of the data privacy implementation? Or it is something uniquely for India?
No, I think it is. You have to give time to. All regulators, they give time, right? You can't be implement with immediate effect, and you can't penalize, right? You have to give some time. So that's why that 12 months to 18 months period given, right? And I think also I heard that even MIT is also revising to revise the timeline. They not to give more months or times. Maybe they may reduce it. So that is what I heard. Yeah. But yeah, you need to give time for all enterprises, MSME to mid and large enterprises, including PSU, right? And they need time to change their entire process, implement privacy products, right? So yeah, that is, I think, we need to give time, and regulator has literally given that time to enterprises.
Okay, so today I think no discussion can be complete without talking about AI. So let's now understand the aspect of AI. So how AI is transforming privacy from a reactive process to a proactive, real-time trust assurance mechanism, especially handling DPDP mandate data for these responsibilities.
Great. Rightly you mentioned, AI has literally moved privacy from reactive to proactive. And with our patented AI/ML engine, we call it CCE, Cognitive Computing Engine, that responsible ethical AI, enterprises get real-time data classification, confidential data discovery at scale on real time, automatic redaction for risky content. You can redact all those sensitive, non-sensitive, PII, PHI, protected health information, finance information, right? Those who are at a high risk or risky content. Automate data subject access request processing, continuous privacy impact assessment with risk scoring, gap analysis, and patent detection in data misuse. So that's why our patented AI/ML engine helps a lot to make it automated. And at this moment, the accuracy of our CCE is close to 99.54%. AI doesn't replace compliance officers. A lot of people, they ask, right? I mean, we are doing many things on manually. It takes weeks and months. So AI doesn't replace compliance officers. It removes the grunt work and amplifies their intelligence. So nothing to worry about, why AI is coming. AI is here for betterment.
Okay, so without naming the organizations where some of these implementation have really worked, so can you give some specific examples of your work at Data Safeguard where AI-driven automation detected and mitigated privacy risk before it escalated, and perhaps in a scenario involving DPDP compliance?
Absolutely. As I said, we are the early mover there, right? Even before the act actually came into life, right? And we have customers and we have implemented one Indian public sector client process lakhs of citizens record every month. So our platform, it's a PSU, our platform flag a non-compliant third-party workflow, sensitive attributes being stored without consent, and expose data pipeline. So what our CC AIML auto-classified and redacted the risky data, notified the teams, and sought the exposure pathway within minutes. The traditional products or tools would have taken weeks or months, and DPDP exposure avoided in this case, and trust maintained. Other than the PSU, we have got few banks, healthcare, retail, consumer electronics, and I can give many examples, Dr. Mishra.
Fantastic. So for enterprises just starting out, I mean, especially the smaller ones or maybe the startups, what are the first steps they should take to incorporate AI into their privacy workflow without, it's becoming too much for the team to really implement or adapt while preparing for this DPDP enforcement?
Great question again. So I always tell leaders, start small, automate one workflow, make it visible, and show value, and scale fast. Start small, automate one workflow, make it visible, show value, and scale fast. Start with data discovery. We call it confidential data discovery, consent unification, PIA automation, data subject access request workflow. We can start with one or two or three products. AI becomes less overwhelming when you focus on automation of the repetitive tasks, not the sensitive decisions. So this is my advice to the startups you mention or any enterprise. It can be startup, MSME to large enterprises, even PSU.
So you mentioned that one of the step is to make the data visible. So can you explain a little more about what you mean by that?
Okay, let's say, Dr. Mishra, you may be having many banking, insurance, healthcare, retail, right? Do you even know where exactly your sensitive, non-sensitive informations are flowing across the enterprise systems? For an example, do you know, let's say you are banking with a bank called X, or let's say your healthcare is with a healthcare company called Y, or let's say your health records are maintained in some hospital. Can you tell me at this moment where are your health records or your sensitive information? You don't have any clue, right?
No.
So what I'm talking about, other than the consent, where are my confidential data? And confidential data can be your health record, your PAN, Aadhaar card, your address, your kids information, your health records, your finance information, right? With our system, on a real time, it can go to any data set, structure, semi-structure, unstructured, email, PDF, image, right? In case of, let's say, healthcare, right? Your DNA report, right? Any report. I mean, he can just go identify, classify, and confirm. Okay, these are the sensitive information of a particular client, right? And non-sensitive information can be religion, can be gender, right? And can be anything, right? The address or whatever we classify as a non-sensitive, right? So it will go on real time. It classify, identify, confirm as a sensitive information, and on periodically. And another product of us called confidential data redaction, it will redact, not masking. Masking anyway, if I mask my face, I can unmask, but redaction is permanent. So once you are redacting those information not required, where the data is on downstream or taken for, let's say, QA environment or DevOps or sandbox, right? That is not required. And it is not only for enterprise, even we have vendors, partners, right? They take data for testing, right? So the sensitive informations are lying there. So why the sensitive information will be unattended, right? So if you redact it, even though after the data breach happens, then there will be a negligible impact on those data, because the data are redacted, and they will get nothing out of it. So that's why the confidential data discovery and the confidential data redaction, along with the privacy impact assessment on data process and third party, plays a major role.
Okay. Now, moving on, implementation or implementing unified automation isn't without hurdles, obviously. So, what are the
Yeah.
biggest challenges you have seen enterprises face during this transition, including those specific to DPDP implementation in India? With so many customers already in India with you, I'm sure you'd be seeing a lot of new challenges every time you implement your processes. So, can you share, without naming, of course, the organizations, some of your
Absolutely.
experiences?
Absolutely. Rightly you ask, I mean, there are a lot of challenges. So, but biggest the challenges are legacy system, scattered data, lack of ownership. We'll do it later. Mindset, right? We'll do it later, not today, tomorrow, next week. That never comes. We all know that. And underestimate of DPDP timeline. So these are the challenges when we speak to the leaders. They talk about this, right? Which is really concerns, right? So how to overcome? Make privacy leadership cross-functional. Use an unified platform, not solutions. Build a 12-week DPP execution roadmap. Deliver small wins every 2 weeks. And automation becomes achievable when you stop boiling the ocean. So that is what I normally, tell customers.
So irrespective of the size of the organization, you are a strong believer to start small and then scale.
Absolutely. That's why I told, right? Let's say we have 7 products which addresses end to end of the privacy lifecycle or privacy, but you don't need to implement all. Start with 1 or 2 product, as I mentioned, right? Let's say India needs consent, right? So let's say universal consent management, then confidential data discovery. PI is very much essential because privacy impact assessment give that particular enterprise. It can be MSME to mid to large enterprises, including public sector. That will give them the risk scoring, gap analysis, right? And yes, then confidential data redaction. Then these are compliance audit. They can make it later. But yeah, that's why I'm saying start with 1 or 2 and scale it.
Okay, something which I had not planned, but I thought of asking you as a
Sure.
real life example. So let's say I check into a hotel in Chennai.
Hmm.
At the time of checking in, I have to show my Aadhaar card or share my Aadhaar card, in fact, for the hotel to confirm my identity, and
Yeah.
they keep that information. So, do you think when the DPDP Act is fully implemented, at the time of checkout, I will be shown that the Aadhaar card detail has been deleted from the system? Is that something which is going to happen really?
Absolutely. I think they started doing it. Earlier days, we all know how our PAN card, Aadhaar card, address, driving license, company ID is you will find everywhere in the photocopy or Xerox machines, right? Now those are gone, right? Coming back to your answer, they used to keep the hard copy, right? They have to shred it, they have to delete it, or they have to give back to you, right? After they check your identity. Of course, that is the consent, right? And that is what I mentioned in one of my answer. Data minimization. You only collect data which you need it, right? I mean, if you I really agree, if somebody will ask show me your identity, we used to go with 5 identity: Aadhaar card, PAN card, my ration card, my driving license, my company ID. Nobody has asked you all, right? So this is called data minimization. One, okay, let's say my Aadhaar card is my unique identity, or my driving license is my. So you show one. Did I answer that?
Yeah. So what I meant was, so will the reception which has collected
Yeah.
my Aadhaar card, when the DPDP Act is fully implemented in India, they will
Yeah.
actually show me that, sir, I have collected this information, this was
Yes.
stored here, and I'm
Yes.
deleting this information in front of you. Is that a reality which is going to happen? I'm just
No,
imagining.
no, no. Yeah, got your answer. Yes, it says that with your consent, they will keep it. You will say, okay, I have right to delete, so they will delete it. If you
Okay.
say you agree that they will use it for future, not for marketing purpose or not for any other purpose, they will ask you, they will take your consent, then they will use it. If you say erase it, delete it, whatever you say, they will do it. Yeah,
Fantastic. So that would be good, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So looking ahead, what emerging trends in AI and privacy do you see shaping the next 5 years? I know predicting about AI is actually very tricky, but then since you are seeing this every day in your day-to-day work life, so how do you see this panning out in the next 5 years?
Sure. So here is what I see. Privacy is becoming a cost economy, and DPDP will influence global regulations. right? And the LLM governance will merge with data privacy. Another one is AI-driven continuous assessment will replace audits. Privacy engineers and AI ethicists, right, will be the hottest roles. Privacy engineer, I'm talking about, right? And those who are the AI ethist, right, or ethicist will be hottest roles in future. Students, as you run India Career Center, for them, students will enter a workplace where every click is regulated. So India's DPDP will set a new global benchmark because no other market operates at India's scale, multilingual, diversity, and digital intensity. So that is what I would like to say what will happen in next 5 years in AI and privacy.
Okay, so I was actually glancing through the implementation process of the DPDP Act, and one of the most important thing which came across to my mind is the most of the big organizations and the data fiduciaries have to have the data protection officers. So
Yes.
that's going to be a huge opportunity for youngsters who are listening to us or watching us live today.
Absolutely. There will be huge DPOs in demand, data protection officer, right? And US and Europe, people have a chief privacy officer, chief compliance officer. That also will hurt. Yeah, DPO comes with both legal as well as tech background. So a lot of legal professionals with tech background will be on high demand. Yeah.
Fantastic. For the last one, and finally, our listeners who are privacy leaders, executives, or even young students building their careers in tech, what one piece of advice you would like to give to build true confidence in data trust programs today, emphasizing why early awareness of laws like the DPDP Act is crucial for personal as well as professional data privacy and literacy?
Absolutely. So I will say in one sentence, learn privacy today, you will lead tomorrow. So DPDP is not just a law, it is a life skill, it is a digital hygiene, it is a professional journey. So confidence in privacy comes from awareness, discipline, and using the right products or tools. And the future belongs to those who treat data with respect.
Fantastic. Dr. Damodar Sahu, your answers have been very precise and to the point, and I hope lot of our young listeners and viewers will learn something about this new law getting implemented in India, which is not only important for their own future personally as well as professionally, but also it is a great opportunity for them to explore the various career opportunities which is going to open up in the coming years. And I'm sure Data Safeguard India will expand the roles in India, and there'll be a lot of opportunities within India as well. So, if you like to give some numbers to our viewers and listeners in terms of what would be those in terms of the, let's say, next 5-year plan for Data Safeguard India?
Absolutely. No, I think great question. And let me answer. I'm happy to answer that. We have our development center in Pune, Bangalore, and Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar is in Odisha, eastern part of the country. And Bhubaneswar is also our global R&D center. And our implementation centers are cut across all cities: Delhi and NCR, Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai. We are actually hiring continuously. If you are a privacy enthusiast or a AIML engineer, privacy engineer, or a subject matter expert, we need you. Just
So when you say subject matter expert, what do you mean? Can you elaborate on that?
Okay, subject matter expert, basically, you know the law as well as technology, privacy law and technology, combination of both. And as I told you, the next 5 years will be super duper exciting journey for privacy professionals. And we are hiring daily. Just look at our talent acquisition leaders, LinkedIn profile, my profile, even go to Data Safeguard India LinkedIn profile, go to our website, and you have all the options to apply there. So we look forward to you joining us. And of course, as you ask for the plan, I mean, 2026, we expect that We are 85 member team, and most of us are developers. They are in India, 85%. But we look forward to hiring 200 plus people, in next 6 to 8 months.
Fantastic. So that's a great opportunity for a lot of youngsters who are looking at this as a career path, and very exciting career path. I remember one of the quote you mentioned during the last episode last year is that it is not just a profession, it's also your responsibility. So I really like that. I mean, it is not just the job, it's also your responsibility to make sure that the customers are protected, the customer data is protected. So it's a bigger mission is what
Absolutely.
you guys are doing.
Absolutely. No, rightly you said. Let me tell you in 30 seconds. Every 39 seconds, there is a data breach happens. And I think few analyst companies, they predict that if you don't take care of the privacy part, then out of 5 billion people, out of 8 billion people, 5 billion people, will be impacted because of data privacy, data breach. And data breaches are leading to synthetic fraud, and the synthetic frauds are leading to financial crime, including the digital scam. Digital scam happens, right? And 5 million enterprises will be impacted. And we have seen many enterprises, 5 billion, 6 billion, they got shut down or they filed bankruptcy because data breach. One data breach can really shut down your operation business, and it happened. You just Google it, which are the companies recently got shut down. You will find many in large company. I'm not talking about startups, right? So privacy matters, and that is a mission we have in data safeguard. Other than the business, how we can safeguard the 8 billion people's personal data, health records, and their finance information, so that we can help minimizing the data breach impact. And if we can minimize it, that will have a less synthetic fraud. If we have a less or zero synthetic fraud, then we will have a zero financial crime.
Fantastic. So that's an ideal world, but I think we must all be optimistic towards that.
Yeah.
So it's always great to speak with you with such a enthusiasm and positiveness about you, what you do and how you conduct yourself. So thank you, Dr. Sahu, for being with us, and we will have more conversations around AI and how it is impacting in the coming weeks and months. So thank you for your time today.
No, thank you, Dr. Mishra, and thank you all the audience watching us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. We sincerely wish you could take something from our conversation today and be able to apply it to your life in a positive way. We value your feedback. This can help us improve our future episodes. So share your thoughts to serve you better. If you want us to focus on a topic which you think is of importance, let us know. We will share our expertise in future episodes. So, see you soon with a new topic and help you in your career journey.